Welcome to iDialogue. I'm very pleased to say that today we're going to be speaking to Rabbi Beck, who is going to be exploring relationships between Jews and Muslims, what's happening in Palestine at the moment, and what the future holds for Jews and Muslims across the world. So thank you, first of all, Rabbi Beck, for joining us today. It's a real pleasure to have you here with us. We want to ask you a few questions about Judaism, as well as what's happening around the world today between relations between Muslims, non-Muslims, what's happening in Palestine, and it'd be really good to get your views on this matter. I know I've seen you and your brothers, who have joined the various protests that have been taking place in London, not just this year, but even in the past. I know that you have been very active in ensuring that the voice of, would it be right to say the Orthodox Jews is being presented appropriately, both to the Muslim community, but also to all other communities as well. So I know, I've done a little bit of reading and research in regards to yourself and your organization. You are the son of a very well-known Rabbi Moshe Rabbi Beck. Is that correct?
Yes.
To say, and he was one of the, would it be founders or leaders?
One of the greatest leaders.
One of the great leaders
this organization.
Of the organization.
Neturei Karta.
Neturei Karta in the United States. So it'd be really great just to hear from you, first of all, a little bit about your own upbringing, your childhood. Was it in the United States, or I believe it was you were born in Jerusalem? Is that correct?
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about that, and maybe your childhood? It'd be great to hear.
Yes. Firstly, my name is Rabbi Beck. I'm a rabbi here in Stamford Hill in London, North London. I born really in Jerusalem, yes, in Mei Shearim. When I was a little child, my whole family gone out of Israel. I mean, because mainly we cannot live under a government when you are against it. My father was, when he used to live there in Palestine, he fought very strongly against the Zionists. Fighting doesn't mean with physical means, just he gives speeches and try to take away people from the Zionist idea, to bring them back to Judaism, and to keep the Jewish youth not to get influenced, not to go into the Zionist influence. And everything what's going on in the daily life there in Palestine, it makes confusions, because at the end of the day, people get killed, bloodshed and something like that, and people get... The Zionists try to convince people. One of the lies is, what I will come to that later, what they try to bring out, that Muslims want to kill all the Jews, Muslims want to throw the Jews into the sea. So even you are not Zionist, you have to side with us, because if not, you will be killed. So they try to confuse people very much, and we have to work very hard to keep people away from Zionism, and just think straight, that's all. Just think straight, look around you, look what's going on here. Nothing has been changed here. Look, and this really, my father have a hard time in Israel. He going out many times of demonstrations, and he get beaten by the Zionist police. The tooth has been broken, and he was in prison very much. I can say maybe that he was at prison more than at home. Right. Because the Zionists put him in prison every second day. So at the end of the day, he see that it's impossible to live there when you are against it. And also, he didn't want to benefit from them. Yes, you live in a country, you benefit from the lighting, from the gas, from the sewer, from the roads, everything, you benefit from them. He didn't want it. He didn't want to get any benefit from the Zionists. So he decided at the end of the day, with many other rabbis, that they're going out. Really, my father is not the only one going out since the creation of the state. In 1948, tens of thousands of Jewish families has gone out, didn't want to live there. I can say even in my area, in Stamford Hill, there are hundreds of families where they're gone out just in the last 10 years.
Right.
They didn't want to live there. They didn't want to live in the state of Israel.
They didn't want to live there because of fear or because they disagreed with...
They disagree with the Zionists.
They disagree with Zionism.
It's more than that. They understand, I come to that later, that the state of Israel have no future. People look, they are so strong. We're coming from the religious belief. It's very clearly in our religion that the state of Israel will come to an end. There is no future for that. So it's more than that. We want to show for the world, not only for the world, even for our own families, the place for a Jew today is in exile. We come again back to it later. God sent us in exile. We are in exile by divine decree. And the place of a Jew to live today is in exile. If the Zionists build their own... I will tell you about this just a bit. Really, we have to speak about it later, but I will bring it now. The Zionists often waving the flag of the promised land. Promised land, promised land. It's true that God promised a land for the Jews. However, if you look in the Torah, it's very clearly to see only under certain conditions.
Okay.
If you Jews keep a high moral of life, if not, it's written in the Torah many times that we will be exiled. And then you can see in the books of the prophets, especially in Ezekiel, Yeshayahu, Yirmiyahu, that God has exiled us from the land. And when you look in the end of the book of Yirmiyahu, you will see that very clearly. We were exiled by God. We are in exile by divine decree. Going out of exile by force is a rebellion against the Almighty. So I come back to the point. The place of a Jewish person today to live is in exile. We may leave individuals in Palestine. We may live there under a Palestinian government, under a non-Jewish government. We may live there as individuals. But when it's coming up a power like Zionist power to rebel against God and to build their own state against the will of the Almighty, then especially the place for a Jew to live is not on that place. Still, you're allowed to live there as individual. But when you look around the whole thing, this is not a real place where to live. This is one of the main reasons why we gone out of the state of Israel. Then, 1970, my father came here to England. He lived here just a few years, then he go to the USA, Canada, the USA. And we lived there. I lived there. My father lived there till he passed away. He was there in the USA, one of the greatest rabbis there. But I myself, I married here for 37 years ago. I married here in London, and since then, I'm living here.
So you married here in London, is that correct?
For
And
37 years.
Then you came over. over.
Really, my activities I starting 3 years before I married, still in the USA. I was still a student, but I go in and I start to do all these activities. And then when I married, I continue here in England. Here in England, I'm a teacher in a few schools, and I spent very much time just in that what we're fighting with Zionism. And I must tell you that you know us from the social media.
Yeah.
All the work what you see in the social media that we're doing, this is more or less 10% of our work.
Right.
The rest of 90% we're doing within our community.
I see.
By giving speeches, speaking with people, printing leaflets, spreading out the leaflets for all over the people, just to take away the confusions what the Zionists try to bring into the Jewish people and to take them away from Zionism. And thanks to God, it's not only me. I mean, I'm a small rabbi. There's much bigger rabbis here in Stamford Hill. There are in my area rabbis that are speaking every week, every single week against Zionism. One of the rabbis is more than 100 years.
Okay.
Thanks to God, he is still...
Still strong.
Yes, God should give him a long, healthy life. His name is Rabbi Schlesinger. He's speaking every week against the state of Israel, every week.
And do you find that he is convincing people?
Yes, of course.
That maybe people who were supporting the state of Israel before?
First thing is defending. We convince people not to become Zionist, to keep on the right track. This is the main goal, what we aiming to do. And then, of course, as much as we can to straight up people, of course, but this is the main thing. So this is more or less about what we're doing in that 10% what we're speaking. This is more or less about going to give speeches in mosques, in universities, and other places, gathering of people, and we're going to demonstrations, we're giving much interviews. This is more or less what we try to do. But we understand at least this is our duty, how to bring out the Jewish voice, because you have to note that, and of course that you noted already, the Zionists have very strong influence on the media, very strong, and they're quite up. Everybody comes out against them. They're quieting them, and we can see all these demonstrations. What's going on every week in the streets here in London.
Well, I'll probably come back to the issue of the comment that you've made that the Zionists are very strong in the media.
Okay.
But first of all, I just want to maybe get some clarity on this discussion about, or the way that sometimes the Jewish community has been identified in terms of its different groupings. So sometimes the Jewish community is seen as, there's maybe the secular Jews, the Orthodox Jews, the ultra-Orthodox Jews. And from what I've read, it's like the ultra-Orthodox in Hebrew is referred to as the Haradim. Would that be accurate to say? Meaning those who tremble? I mean, do you agree with these different references? Or how would you describe?
It goes like every time when many people, they start to go away from the religion, then they make a separation. And people give them another name. First they give a name Orthodox. And then you can see many Orthodox that call themselves Orthodox Jews. However, they don't eat kosher and they're driving Shabbos, they don't keep Shabbos, something like that. So they give them ultra-Orthodox. Then they give Haredim. Then they give other names. However, what I can say, I'm speaking only in behalf of people looks like me.
Okay.
These type of people looks like me. I don't speak about other people. Really, I don't want to comment about other people. What I can say about people what looks like me, this type of people what you can find mostly in London, in Stamford Hill, I can say that most of them are against the state of Israel totally. Yes. And the rest of them, I can say up to 95% of them are at least non-Zionist. Non-Zionist means Zionism is not a part of their life. Mm-hmm. They have the praying, the businesses, the education of the children, the schools. I will say it on this way. When the Zionist state will come to an end, they will not shed a tear on that. It's not a part of the life. And that's for what you can see in my area. You won't see even one Israeli flag in the whole area. Did you go sometimes to Stamford Hill?
Yes, I go sometimes. Yes. Yeah, I've been there.
So next time you be there, just search for Zionist.
No, you won't see it. No,
you won't see it, even not one, because the whole area there is in general anti-Zionist. Not everybody agrees to everything what we're doing. I will give you an example. There is a large community they call Satmar. Satmar, really, I can say this is wherever you see Jewish people looks like me on the world, Satmar is the leading one.
Okay.
Let's say in our community, Satmar have a few thousand members. I can say nearly half, maybe 40% of our community is Satmar. Satmar are totally against the state of Israel. They are waiting for the dismantlement of the state of Israel, of course, in a peaceful way. Nobody looks for bloodshed, but they're looking for the full dismantlement of the state of Israel in the Israeli Independence Day in Satmar. Satmar, they have about 8 synagogues in Stamford Hill. In a few of them, they're praying a few thousand people.
Yeah.
And they're coming there on the Israeli Independence Day just to bring prayer, the fasting, prayers to God to dismantle the state of Israel.
Right.
However, they are not agreeing exactly what we're doing, going out of protest. For their own reasons. They think maybe it's danger, they will endanger something. But in general, about Zionism, they are agreeing 100% with us, 100% with that. This is in Stamford Hill. Yeah, this is not only in Stamford Hill, this is all over the country. Let's say in Manchester, in Gateshead, where you see, in Newcastle, where Gateshead, you see people who looks like me. They are almost against the state of Israel. Same things in Belgium, in Vienna, in Austria, of course in the USA, in Canada, in Australia, in Argentina.
Yeah.
Wherever you see people who looks like me, you won't see there in general Israeli flag.
Yeah.
But to give my comments about the Orthodox Jews, the modern Orthodox Jews, the secular Jews, I don't like to give comments about them, but one small thing what I can tell you, what you can see, that in all the rallies, what's going on every Saturday, you can see that half of the speakers are Jewish.
Yes.
Secular Jewish. Half of the speakers usually are Jewish. You hear it's Jewish names.
Yes.
When they call him up to come to speak, you know, his name. A PSC, yes. The PSC, all over the country, I going in many places to speak. In Newcastle, in Brighton, in Leeds, in Leicester. We're going many places. We met the PSC. Many places of them, the head of the PSC, the local head, is Jewish.
The Palestinian Solidarity Campaign.
The head of the PSC, the local ones, they are secular Jews.
Right.
So from that I understand that even between the secular Jewish movement, there's also very large movements where they are against the state of Israel. But the percentage, I don't know exactly.
Sure.
But in our community, the Haredi community, what I call them, that's what I can tell you, that the most of them are against the state of Israel. In the rest, up to 95% are at least non-Zionist.
So who would you say are those who do support the state of Israel? Do you have an idea of how you would describe that group of people? I mean, what are their interests? What would be their background?
Of course. Give a look. I will try to come to explain what is that Zionism, what is Judaism, and then maybe we will come to that. We have to understand what is Judaism. Judaism is a religion. It's not a nationality. Having got nothing to do, not with a race, not a nationality. Judaism is a religion. I know many people asking, what means a chosen people? What is a chosen people? Chosen people is not a concept that we are kings, all of us, the rest is slaves, and I will kill everybody not agreeing. No, that means chosen people. Chosen people means that God chose people to serve Him more. God gave for all the people on the world 7 laws of Noah. However, for Jews, He gives 613. Chosen people, God chose people to serve Him more closely and to learn the world, to bring in the belief in God in the world, to enlighten the world with believing in God. This means chosen people. And God really chose the belief, chose the way how to serve God. I mean, to be a Jew, you don't have to be born Jew. Right. Anybody, a black, a white, a Japanese, a Chinese, if he converts, he's the same Jew as me. It haven't got nothing to do with the race, nothing to do with the nationality. It is the belief. If you convert as a Jew, you count it as a Jew. You gone away from the religion, you're not a Jew. I think you as a Muslim can understand that much better. If somebody will say, I'm a Muslim, you will tell him, you are a believer? No. so you're not a Muslim. How can you tell that? I'm already 20 generations Muslims. You will ask him again, you are a believer or not? He will say, no, I'm not a believer. Okay, you are not a Muslim, no difference. You can be 20 generations, you can be 100 generations, no difference. In the same thing, I understand if somebody convert to Islam, he is the same Muslim as you.
Yes.
So this is our religion. The Zionists try to transform that from a religion into a nationality, emptying out Judaism from all the holiness, from all the belief, and fill it in with nationalistic achievements. They want to have a land, a language, and so on, everything. But they try to empty out Judaism from the holiness, from the belief, and fill it in with nationalism. Now, Jews believing in God.
Yeah.
100%. Believing in God don't mean when it's light. When it's light, you don't have to believe. You see. Believing means when it's dark, you still believe that God have His eyes on you. Now, when God sent us into exile, we as Jews, we are not lost our trust in God. We believe in God 100%. Even if it looks dark, we know that God have His eyes on us. And we are not rebelling against God. If He send us in exile, we stay in exile. It's like we have a child.
Yeah.
He's bad. You told him, I punish you. Stay in the corner for 10 minutes. He coming out. What means that? Rebellion. Couldn't care less about
So
you.
for you, exile is one of the commandments of God that you have to obey.
Yes, and we are not rebellion against God. However, Zionism has built up by Neturei Herzl. Neturei Herzl was completely atheist. He didn't believe in God, didn't believe in the Torah. So he don't believe, of course, not in exile. So he just have a different look. Look, Jewish people are in exile. Why? There's no reason for that. What we have to do?
So let's say, as Theodor Herzl was an atheist, like you say, so why did he want to rally Jews together? What was it? What was the factor? Was it just an ethnic issue that he felt, or was it that he felt that Jews are being persecuted in Europe and elsewhere, and that they needed a homeland? What is your understanding?
Well, two things. You mixed up a few. I mean, you touched a few things.
Yeah.
Neturei Herzl, with his secular eyes, he looked at Jewish people as a nationality, as a race, something like that, because they haven't got a religion. That's first thing. If we are in exile, there's no reason for that. What should the French people do when they are in exile? They should organize themselves.
Yeah.
And now he see the anti-Semitism in Europe. When we see anti-Semitism in Europe, we run to God. We know that everything what's happened is by God. Even the Holocaust, we were killed 6 million people, it's also by God. Of course, it didn't take away the responsibility of the Nazis, and they will get punished by God. How? Because everyone has the free will. But the Holocaust was a decree of God, and people ask me how you can say that, how you can say it was a favor for Jewish people. Look what's happened, 6 million people, what's going on? I tell them every time, look, if somebody go to the doctor told them, look, you have cancer. If you want to be alive, you have to make an operation. It will be painful. So what I can do? Okay. And they say, doctor, okay, make the operation. In the make operation, a painful operation, it takes a long time. After a few months, he goes out of the hospital. What he say to the doctor? Thank you. He pay money. Why? He caused you so much pain. Yes, but it's for my favor. He wants to save my life. How do you know you are a doctor? You don't know. I believe the doctor. Yes, the same thing. We believe in God. Believing means when you don't see it. We believe in God. However, Neturei Herzl don't believe in all that. So I see the anti-Semitism. How we can be saved? We have to take the situation in our own hands. If not, we will be lost. So they create a state. They're creating the Zionist idea to make their own state. This is the idea of Zionism. So you can see that the idea of Zionism is basically in complete contradiction, the complete opposite to Judaism. Judaism means believe in God, and Zionism means don't trust in God. Take a situation in your own hands.
Okay. And could you tell me, so your organization, the Neturei Karta, so this organization is completely opposed? Is it just to the establishment or the existence of the state of Israel, or is it something else?
100% we against the whole existence of the state of Israel, because that's what I told you. Israel is a rebellion. The whole creating a state for Jewish people today is a rebellion against the Almighty. Even they do that in a free land. That's what they're doing for the Palestinians. This doubles the crimes and triples it 10 times more. Well, if the Nazis killed you, why the Palestinians have to pay you the bill for that? They didn't kill you. They didn't do nothing. Why you take away the land of Palestinians? Go to Germany, ask them for our land. But Jews have no right to rule any land, especially when they're doing that at the head of other people. In the Torah it's written the 10 Commandments. Don't kill and don't steal. This is exactly what the Zionists is doing. Of course we are against the state of Israel. Since its creation, the whole thing shouldn't exist. And even today, we are not supporting a two-state. We're supporting only a one-state. From the river to the sea should go back for the Palestinians, 100%. Jews have no right to rule even 1 inch of a land. And we are not lost. We are not lost. We are in the hands of the Almighty. And what I can tell you, a secret, we are not lost, not only for that. Yes, only for that. Everything is from the Almighty. But I want to say that even today, we have a brilliant life in all the Muslim countries. We are not lost without the state of Israel. The state of Israel didn't save Jews at all. One of the justifications for the Zionists say, we have to save Jews, we have to bring, Jews need a safe country. Just open the eyes and look, did they bring any safeness for Jewish people?
But what about in Europe? I mean, one of the issues is, like we already spoke about, that in Europe, there has been much persecution of Jews, whether we talk about Germany or even the UK. You know, we know that there has been anti-Semitism, and I think a bit like what you've also just said is that actually the Muslim countries, there are very good examples of where Jews have been welcomed into the Muslim countries. You know, have actually been, Jews have migrated to Muslim countries. One example is just from the Spanish Inquisition. We know that many Jews went from Spain into Turkey and those lands, and they found, home. All of them, found home and refuge in those lands, and they were safe and they prospered, and this has been recorded. I mean, however, what's also been recorded is persecution of Jews in Europe and other countries. I mean, would you not say that for that reason, Jews did require or do require some kind of safety or somewhere to go?
Look, before the Zionist state, I have to answer your question, but today I don't have to answer. The fact and answers. Look, did the Zionist state save them from anti-Semitism? The Zionists only bring bloodshed after bloodshed.
Okay.
Look what's happened.
Yeah.
They took the people to the state of Israel. Yes, where is today the most danger place for a Jew to live? In the whole world. We live in the whole world safely. We live in England, we live in the USA, we live in the Muslim countries safely. We live in Iran. Iran, the biggest enemy of Jews. But there is no anti-Semitism there. My colleagues are now in Iran.
In Iran they are safe?
Yes. Rabbi Weiss is there. My colleague from the USA, Rabbi Rosenberg. And he's there still. It's happened what's happened with the president.
The West would like to present Iran as being the most anti-Semitic
But
of
they
people.
told me, I speak to them daily, we don't see an anti-Semitism here. There is Jewish institutes, there's a Jewish hospital there, there's a Jewish schools, Jewish high schools, Jewish synagogues, a brilliant life. Jews live all over, and the same thing is in Turkey, the same thing is in Morocco, the same thing is in Algeria, in Tunis, everywhere Jews live peacefully. The only place where it's danger for a Jew to live, for a Jew, not for Palestinian, is the state of Israel. This is the most danger place of Jews. So this is a solution. This is not a solution. They don't only bring a disaster for Jewish people. Really, one of our greatest rabbis called the Chofetz Chaim. 100 years, he passed away 90 years ago, before the creation of the State of Israel. He said then, in that time, that if they will create a state, in that time it was before the creation, but it was Zionism, the ideas. He thought if they create a state, this will be a disaster for Jewish people. This only will bring bloodshed. That what we see with our eyes. The state of Israel only brings bloodshed after bloodshed for Jews and Muslims together. They didn't save any Jews. The Zionist state didn't save any Jew, and even not from anti-Semitism. They say we save people from anti-Semitism. When I go here in the street and I hear behind me, Hitler, what is that? I know that he watched yesterday the TV, what's going on in Gaza. And because he identified me, of course I'm Israeli, so he crying Hitler. They're only raising anti-Semitism all over the world. They didn't bring anti-Semitism to an end. They didn't help nothing for Jewish people.
Let me ask. I have a couple of questions. How do you think this conflict of where thousands of innocent people have been killed, and including Jews are also dying, like you've just said, that they are also not safe. How do you think that this conflict will end?
I will give over this to my friend. I will just come to the last question, what you're asking about, what our solution is, and then I will ask the other rabbi to come over, ask him the questions. He will explain it much better. Besides he's speaking a better English than me. The solution, according to the Jewish perspective, the Torah perspective, it's written in the Torah, and the reference of that is Numbers 14, verse 41. A rebellion against God cannot be succeed. As long as the state of Israel is a rebellion against the Almighty, as I explained to you, that God sent us in exile, the state of Israel cannot last. They will come to an end 100%. 100%. I'm so clear in that, like now is day. It's 100% because this is written in the Torah. In what's written in the Torah, this will happen. It's much more stronger than the fact. This is a belief. We believe in God, and we believe in every single word what's written in the Torah. A rebellion against God cannot be succeed. We know there are already 76 years. They are strong, unfortunately. But I can tell you, from one side you can see much weakness, even from the political view. I look this war of Gaza like a candle. It's going down, down, down. And the last few seconds it get wild, strong, wild. And then it's get, that's what I'm looking for this. I hope so at least. The state of Israel will come to an end, and we pray constantly for that. We hope and pray for a peaceful end. Nobody looks for bloodshed. We hope it will happen in a peaceful way. I know people say it's impossible, but I give you an example. Look, the USSR, if you remember that, for 35 years ago, there was such a strong power. People think to bring an end to that, it will cost millions of lives. Yeah. It didn't cost a single life. And the same thing in South Africa, another example. People think it will cost so many lives. It's cost, but not so much. It's possible. It's possible to bring a peaceful end, and it will come to an end. And this is the solution according to the Torah. The state of Israel will come to an end. And God, very clearly, that doesn't mean Jews have to be killed. Jews have to be exiled, expelled from the... Look, Jews have a golden life in all Muslim countries today. After 76 years of genocide, after 76 years of killing. I myself, I was in Morocco for a few years ago. Okay. I just crossed the border from Spain into Morocco. And when I crossed over the border, Muslim people come to me, Rabbi, bless my children. And I couldn't believe it, my eyes. After 70 years of genocide in Palestine, still they're coming, Rabbi, bless my children. This shows me there is a future between Jews and Muslims. Still, after what's going on, still there is a future. It's unbelievable what I saw. But like Jews live today, everybody can take a flight, it's cheap, for £100 you can get a flight to Iran, take a flight to Morocco. Look the beautiful Jewish life there. Look the beautiful Jewish life in Turkey, in Tunis. Just look at it with your eyes. How can people say that all these marches and all these rallies is anti-Semitic? We don't see anti-Semitism in the Muslim world at all. Take a flight. It's an open world today. Take a flight. Go over to these countries. You will see there is no anti-Semitism. After everything what's happened in Palestine, still there are not anti-Semitism there. It's unbelievable what we can see. The same thing can happen in Palestine.
Well, and one of the things is under Islamic law, we know that, again, even if we talk about Palestine, that we know that those lands were ruled under Islamic law for hundreds of years, and under Islamic law, under an Islamic kind of governorship or sultan or state, there is the concept of the dhimmi, of the protected citizens, and the ahlul dhimmi, the people of the dhimma, are those who are protected, meaning from the Christian groups, from the Jewish communities, and even from other non-Muslim groups. They are actually protected, and it becomes a duty and an obligation upon the Muslims who are in a position of ruling or a position of authority. They have to actually protect those other communities. It's again binding by God. A duty the same way it is a duty to pray, to fast. Muslims have the duty to protect people of all other faiths. Under their authority.
That's what we see in all Muslim countries. In fact, it's unbelievable. There is no anti-Semitism. After all the genocide what's going on in Palestine, still there are no anti-Semitism. So the same thing when the state of Israel will come to an end, and it will. Doesn't mean Jews have to be killed. No, we can live in a peaceful way like we live in Iran.
So, Rabbi Beck, thank you very much for your time this evening. It's been really informative, educational, and inspiring for me. Like I mentioned at the start, I've seen you at the various protests, and you've always presented yourself, as well as your brothers have come along and stood side by side with Muslims, voicing very strongly your opposition to the occupation of the lands of Palestine. And we hope, inshallah, one day in the future, we will both be able to stand in Palestine, in a liberated land. So I hope and I pray for that in the near future, inshallah. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.